What's up, everyone? Alex with Jeeps Limited here. Welcome to the first episode of working on the YJ, the YJ restoration project that I'm doing. In this video, I'm gonna just kind of get diving back into the body work. I took a bit of a break on this for a while, and now that I'm gonna get started on it, I'm gonna be recording it and making a little bit of footage for you guys to watch if you so choose. But today we're gonna be jumping into it, working on the floor pan and just doing some rust repair and whatnot. So should be fun, should be productive. Hopefully I'll get a lot done. And I just wanted to apologize for the song you're going to hear in this video a lot. It's called Ragtime Piano if you want to look it up, but you're going to hear it a lot, so I'm sorry about that. All my videos are actually just filmed solely on cell phones and edited on cell phones, so I don't have a lot of options, so appreciate the patience on that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. So I have not worked on this in months, 5 or 6 months, honestly. And part of the problem I'm having is I don't really remember where I left off. I don't remember what exactly my plan was as I was doing it. And then the other problem is, with it sitting on the side like this, that's the only way I could really figure out how to work in the bottom of it. But it's kind of limiting too, because like this is almost done. I'm gonna just, it's welded, but it's plug welded from the other side. I'm gonna put a little bit more weld in a couple of spots and like clean it up a little bit, but like that's kind of done. I want to move on from that. But now I kind of need it laying down, like sitting down flat, so that I could work with this floor pan a lot easier. And I think I could work with a lot of this corner a lot easier too. And then there's actually a hole here, you probably just can't see. I could work with a lot easier if it was laying flat. And then I don't want to work on the bottom portion of this like this, because I don't want to cut out the structural support of this while it's sitting on that side. So I have to like constantly keep flipping it around, and which kind of sucks. It's heavy. It still has the whole heater core and steering column in it, so it's heavy. I mean, I can do it, but it sucks. I don't want to move it around more than I need to. And then, like I said, I'm trying to figure out what direction I was going when I stopped working on it. Because I just really don't remember. I have this whole floor pans cut out. I don't remember how I had it like arranged in there, because I was just messing with it, and I really can't get it to go back in place probably as good as I had it. Also, I cut the floor pan out with it laying flat, so it's probably all tweaked now that's up on its side, and moving it around the more with more metal cutouts not gonna be good for it either. And then this whole thing is just a walking sharp rust pile. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working on. Trying to make that fit again in this weird spot. And if I can get it to fit in there right, I can at least tack weld it into place like this. And then even, I mean, I could fix this hole. I mean, I could get up on top of it and fix it. And I mean, I could probably do, actually, a lot of this corner. This whole corner's got a huge piece cut out. Nailed it. I can probably do that here too, but again, I'm trying to just figure out what my plan was and just build off of that again. So that's what I'll be doing today. Okay, so I got the floor pan pretty well tacked into place. I'm not going to fully weld that yet, just in case for whatever stupid reason it's got to come back out. I just don't want to fully weld it yet. I'm going to try and get a lot of this tacked into place. That way I can just kind of move it around a little bit easier with some rigidity back in the body before I fully weld everything. So the next thing I'm going to be working on right now is going to be just filling this square hole up here, or rectangle hole. I have just some 22 gauge steel, which is a little bit light for this, but the only other thing I have on me is 16 gauge, which is a little heavy, I believe. So it's just really not a big piece. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the 22 gauge, and then at some point, there was a support on the inside. I'll probably try and bend something up, or just use a piece of C-channel and weld it onto there, back to the floor, just to add a little bit of strength back in there. And it's a small enough spot. I don't think the 22 gauge is gonna be a problem. So yeah, that is what I'll be working on next. Well, I'm not proud of what just happened, but it's in. I will say the 22 gauge steel is way too thin. I spent a lot of time right there just chasing around holes that I was burning in it. And then even as I was trying to grind it smooth, I ground through the 22 gauge in quite a few spots, and I then had to go back and try and fix it, which was hard since it was even thinner than before. So it's in. It's fairly smooth, and it's going to require a lot of Bondo. Next, there's a focus on the hard part, and I really don't know what I'm even going to do with this. I guess the first thing I'm going to do is just start cutting the floor and the wheel well back, just until I have some good enough metal that I can weld to, and then the only thing I can do, I just piece it together and just start welding it in until it starts to kind of take the shape that it was before. I really don't know how I'm going to tackle this. It's just going to be something that I'm going to start cutting until I feel like I have something I could build off of, and then just start building and see where it goes. Alright, I got that cut back a little bit more. Looks like it's got plenty of clean metal there, and then I cleaned up the edges just to verify. It looks decent. I think I can, weld onto it, which is funny because I can't weld onto good metal, let alone this. But, I'm going to try. I need to finish cleaning it up with the grinder and whatnot, cleaning up the edges so it's actually clean to weld on, but I'm completely out of welding gas. So that will be tomorrow's problem, and or just some other day's problem. So we'll see. But anyways, decently productive night. So, yep, moving on. So I have a lot of this area kind of cleaned up. I cleaned it up with a wire wheel. I'm going to have to come back through with the wire wheel, and then probably come through with a FAP disc or something. Like all of this needs to be cleaned up a bit better. But I'm going to jump on the inside of this. It needs the same thing. It's all got bed liner, which was on the inside of the tub. So I'm going to be coming through. I gotta clean up all of this. I got to clean up this, see if this is even good. I think it is. But I got to get all this bed liner off of here and everything and get this all cleaned up. And then I'm going to start probably with, I think if I build a piece to connect into here, the outside of the body, and build that first, I think I can then, I don't know, fill in the inside of the floor. So we'll see. But I'm going to start by just getting some of this cleaned up. Alright, so I got this tacked into place, and it's actually, like, tacked. It's good. I feel good about that. I will say, last time, whatever disgrace I was welding on, I don't even remember, I did not have any welding gas, so that didn't help. I switched this to 16 gauge. I'm just going to do everything out of 16 gauge for now. It's a little bit too thick, I think, but if I can weld it better, I think it just makes more sense. So, and another thing, I talked to somebody at work who's an actual, like, sheet metal fabricator welder, and pretty much confirmed that, first off, I don't know how to weld, and secondly, he told me, like, the trick to this is to just really take your time, which is something I always kind of tend to rush. So, it's tacked up for now, and I don't see, it's pretty solid. I don't see a reason to weld it fully until I get, like, the rest of the floor kind of, in place and tacked up, just so that if for whatever reason, if I, like, need to take this off and move it, I can. I will have to at some point, like, figure out how to lay out this radius and cut it off, which is whatever, not that big of a deal. And then I actually got a pretty nice bend here to, like, make this little lip, which it's, a lot deeper than this, but the little lip adds rigidity or something. So yeah, that actually turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So I don't know, I might figure out how to make some cardboard templates here, maybe. I don't know, that's what real body guys do. I think they make cardboard templates, so we'll see. But yeah, that's probably what I'm going to try and get into next and see if I can't get some of this, because it's cut out from here, up that way, across here, and then all the way up there. So and see if I can't figure out how to get that kind of patched in a little bit. So alright, so I got that piece that I showed you guys earlier put in. I bent up not bent up, I cut up a piece to make the floor out of, and then I started putting the B-pillar in before I put this section in, and I noticed, like, the B-pillar, I didn't cut this, it didn't match exactly what came out. And I did it in kind of like a stupid way. Like, I left a lot of the existing B-pillar in place and thought, like, oh, I could just cut it and make it work. But, like, there's a huge gap here that I got to fill in, and, like, this didn't, like, line up right. But I don't know. I'll figure out some way to fill that in. It's not probably going to be pretty, but like I said, the B-pillar that came out didn't match the B-pillar piece that I wanted to put in. And I thought doing it this way would be easier than taking the B-pillar out all the way up to here. I thought, okay, I can just cut it back to where it's good metal and patch it in, which wasn't probably the right way to do that. But this all kind of looks like hell, because it just bad, and I have it zoomed out so you guys can't see my welds. But, I mean, it's in. It probably will hold. This is the passenger side seat belt bracket, basically, so it's not really going to bother me any if it fails, because I won't be in the seat. But anyway, that decent amount done tonight. I feel I still have to, like, finish actually welding it all, but maybe next time I'm out here, I'll just take everything that I have. Well, I'll probably still get this part put in here, and then once that's all fitted up, I'll just go ahead and just spend, like, a couple hours just tacking my way around this till it's inevitably fully welded in. But that's what we got so far. Alright, I got that bottom piece in there, or I guess what makes up the wheel well. Honestly, I think it turned out pretty decent. Like, it's a little ugly, could be better. I got some decent sized gaps I'll have to fill, but honestly, I think that's pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. This panel looks pretty decent. This panel looks decent. This is crooked as shit, but, you know, whatever. I don't know how I got that bad, but, I mean, whatever. It's good enough. So I'm gonna probably get that tacked in, and then I'm going, or not tacked in. I'm gonna get that welded in. I'm just gonna tack all around it like 1,000 times, and then I'll probably get this actually fully welded. I'm just gonna fully weld everything here. I'm actually pretty happy with the way this corner turned out. So then after that, all I need to do is figure out how I want to measure the radius coming off of here around the wheel well and follow that through. And then actually this side will be pretty good to go. I have to finish the floor pan, which I wasn't really happy with the way I did it in the first place, but I have to finish that and then move on to the next cluster of a corner or a floor pan or whatever I decide to move on to. I might start just cleaning up some of this to see if any of this actually needs to be replaced or if it's still decent enough. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fully weld that. I'm actually pretty happy with the way this piece turned out. I mean, you could tell I kind of fucked up in a couple of spots. That ended up being too short, but it was complicated kind of to make because I originally made it all in one piece, and then I had to put a 90-degree bend here and do a 45-ish degree bend here, which didn't really work. So I did end up cutting it here and making it into two pieces, and the cut's a little wonky there too, and then I cut it too short there too, but otherwise it actually turned out pretty decent. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and weld that in. Alright, so this is what we ended up with on the inside. I got the B-pillar, like, kind of on there, but, like, there's this huge gap because they just didn't line up right. I'll probably do something with that, but I'll probably wait until, like, the tub's not up on its side because it's kind of a pain in the ass anyway. But, yeah, that's all. The floor is welded in from this side. I mean, it's a little ugly. Like, this spot here doesn't look very good, but it'll hold. It'll be fine. And then over here, this piece here actually turned out pretty decent, where I think I showed you guys, like, there's a couple of big holes right in here that just from laying out the floor wrong, I got those patched in. They actually look decent. I mean, all of this looks okay. It's not great, but it'll be good enough to hold it for sure, and then I'll probably smooth it out. I really can't grind it out any more than it really is. I'm honestly just going to, like, smooth it out with Bondo or JB Weld or something to kind of just feather it out and make it look a little bit better before I paint it. But otherwise, from here, all of that's welded. None of this part's welded, and none of this is welded up here yet. But so far, that's where we're at. So it's getting there. So after I welded in the floor pan to the sidewall here, particularly to the patch I did, it was way too hot, and I didn't even realize I was doing this because I was welding it from the backside. It took me a while to realize it. I just absolutely just burned through this whole piece. This was the 22 gauge piece I did. I mean, this is all gone. There's a huge hole here, huge hole here. It's bad. And then like this fuck up from last time still needs to be fixed. So this is like too thin. So I'm just gonna cut this off again. I'm gonna cut it back out where I had it, and I'm gonna just carefully cut it off here, off the floor pan, the best I can without damaging the floor pan too much. I have re-clean it up, re-prep this, and just put a piece of 16 gauge here, because this is, like I said, it's too thin. It's just too thin. It's just burned through. There's no way I'm gonna be able to fix that. So yeah, a mistake was made, but that's okay. I'm gonna cut it out and redo it, and honestly, I don't think it'll take too long. It's maybe a couple hours worth of work. So, but oh well. That's the thing here. You live and you learn. I don't know. I thought the 22 gauge would be okay, but it's just too thin for this, and this just looks so bad. It needs to be fixed. This over here with the 16 gauge, I mean, it's not great, and there's gonna need to be some hammering and Bondo done here, but I mean, that's to be expected. I didn't think that I would be able to get this stuff perfect enough that it doesn't need to be Bondoed. I mean, it's just probably not going to happen. I mean, maybe if I just sat here all day grinding this out, but at a certain point, I'll just start grinding through the body. So this looks okay, good enough to Bondo in my opinion. I don't know, but this is just, I mean, it just needs to be redone. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, I suppose. So yeah, next step in the process, I guess. You live and you learn. All right, well, that is poorly cut back out. So now I didn't really cut this here at the floor all that great, but, you know, oh well. So that's cut out, and another thing I'm going to be doing while I'm just here is all of these, like, half-inch holes everywhere. I had these rocker guards that we built just out of some angle iron that were bolted onto there. I don't believe I will be even considering putting those back on. First off, they're just kind of janky. I mean, this is angle iron bolted to the side of the car. It worked. It did its job. I used to be able to lift the car with them, but I just don't feel like putting them back on because they were kind of a little bit janky. And then I think that having the rocker guards there with just angle iron bolted here, I think caused a lot of the rust issues, to be honest, because it was probably just holding in all that moisture. So another thing, yeah, I'm just going to prep these out and then just put maybe just a small piece of steel back there and just fill this in with weld. I don't know. You know, I don't think I could just run around this and fill it in. I think I'll have to just put, you know, just a little 1-inch piece back there and then just fill it with weld and grind it smooth. So just another thing I'm going to be doing while I'm right here. All right, so I have that piece re-welded in, grinded. It's better. It's not great, but it's better. I'm gonna finish up a lot of this with like Bondo. I don't know. Like if I keep grinding it and try and grind it smooth, it's gonna grind through the metal. So I mean, this can all be repaired with Bondo. Hopefully, we'll see. I had to weld this little piece on. I had to bend this to get something off. Probably bend it to get to the floor pan, maybe. I did kind of fuck up the floor pan when I cut this piece off, so I just kind of patched in. I mean, obviously that's the bottom of the car, so you're not going to see it, and then the inside I can kind of fix up with a little bit of Bondo. I'm not even going to bother weld this. There's really no point. It's not going to go anywhere. There was a patch there that I did a long time ago. Obviously this is in this whole corner. Honestly, this corner, like, it's shit. I'll give you that it's not good, but it's ground out pretty smooth. This whole top piece can be filled with Bondo. The bottom, I mean, you'll be able to see this in the wheel well, but once you put, you'll be able to see all of this in the wheel well, but once you put a good heavy coat of paint or something on there, you're not going to see it. And then this piece, whatever, it's under the car, you're not going to see it. It's not that great, but to be honest, like, I'm kind of proud of it. This corner was one of the biggest things that I thought I was going to have an issue with trying to do the body work. Just because, I mean, it was kind of a complex corner to make. I don't know. I think it was. And I honestly think it turned out pretty decent. It's not great. I'm sure a lot of people would have a lot to say about it, but I cut out all the bad metal. I welded in new metal. I think it looks pretty decent. And at least it's better than a rust hole. So the next thing I'm going to do, that's pretty much everything I want to do patch-wise with it laying in the position that it's in, or sitting in the position that it's in. Like, I'm going to go through, I got to just like clean up all these edges and see if there's anything here that actually needs to be repaired. This piece, actually, I need to order this. I don't know. This almost, it holds body mounts, but it's almost, I might be better off just leaving it alone and not putting those body mounts in. But problem is, I either need body mounts there, or I need to make sure that these body mounts, which are just, I mean, this is one of the worst pieces of the car. I got to make sure those body mounts are in and correct if I'm not going to use these body mounts. So I might actually just, even though these, another thing I can do, this piece isn't in terrible shape. If I had to buy a new one and cut it here and then just replace, you know, the 6 inches on the end or something, might not be a bad idea. I don't know. I gotta clean it up all with the grinder and whatnot, and or a wire wheel or something, and see what here actually might need to be addressed, or what could just be sealed with some type of rust sealant. So that's what I'm gonna be doing next. And then I just gotta clean up. There's a lot of dirt and everything on here. There's some type of rubber coating, like a bed liner or something, that's, it had to have been factory installed. I don't know. But it's like a bed liner rubber coating here that's actually in a lot of places in good shape. So I might just get the dirt off of it, like here. And I could probably leave that alone. Obviously this needs to be treated with something, but I might just leave a lot of this alone because it's in good shape. So I don't know, we'll see. But that's what I'm going to be doing next, is anything on here, just getting all of this dirt and shit cleaned off, and then I gotta flip it over and do the same thing on the driver's side. So this is all gotta get cut out. This is all bad. This has got to be removed. This is gonna get cut up here somewhere and replaced, just like I did with the top. Old floor pan. This thing comes off, in which this thing came off on the passenger side. There was one. I quite honestly don't know what they really do, if they're that important, so I did not buy new ones. If I am trying to fit this together and go, oh shit, I can't bolt something where it needs to be bolted, I'll go order them and weld them in after the fact. But I think for now I'm not going to really worry about them. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. So that might be in the next episode maybe. I think I got quite a bit of content with that. I think I might call that episode number 1. So yeah. Here's what it looks like from the inside, this corner repair. You can see this was a floor patch I did. And the B-pillar doesn't look great. I still have this hole I gotta fix, but I'm just gonna do that with the tub laying flat, so I'm not messing with it upside down, which I probably should have waited on a lot of this to do. But, oh well. The inside looks pretty good. I mean, it's all been welded from the other side, so there's not really a whole lot going on here. This was welded from this side, so is this and that. It's not, again, it's not perfect, but I can smooth this out with something. And then, again, once you put a heavy coat of paint on it or something, or again, this has some bed liner in it that I might just end up touching up, basically, and re-bedlining everything. I'm not sure. So, because I don't feel like stripping the bed liner out of the whole thing. So, but that's what that looks like. That patch is all right. The floor pan is just not great, but I'm going to do the other one differently than I did this one. It's not great, but I'm going to just Bondo or metal filler or something to just make it look better. And then once you put a heavy coat of paint or bed liner on it, it is what it is. It's far from perfect, but it's better than the floor pan that was here. So yeah, it's good enough for what it's for. That's for sure. So we're going to go with it. I like it. All right, everyone. So we got this corner pretty well dialed in, I think. We got that floor pan pretty well dialed in. I think that's going to be it for this first episode, first chapter, whatever you want to call it. I got to clean up a lot of just this surface rust that I think it is that I see in a lot of places. And if I got to patch some more, I will, but I don't think I do. I think if I get it cleaned up, I think I'll find that most of it's in pretty good shape to be reused. So I'm going to clean it up. I got to get it flipped over onto the other side so I can do the same thing on the driver's side. Hopefully better. But I think that's going to be it for this first episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you found it interesting. Let me know if you guys maybe want to see something a little bit different. This was just a lot of hyperlapse of me working and explaining what I did. Let me know if you guys have any pointers. Maybe there's a better way to do it. Maybe you guys want to see something different, or maybe that's good enough, or let's be honest, maybe nobody's even going to watch this, but oh well, it's my story to tell. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time.